Welcome back to HIPAA Talk, you guys. Today we have a special guest. I'm super excited because I really want to hear your journey and everything you guys have going on in your boxing gym. So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Froy Cervantes, owner and operator of Boxr Station, downtown San Antonio.
So, Froy, tell me what initially attracted you to boxing and how did you get started?
Getting started, I did a bunch of other sports or tried to do a bunch of other sports as a kid. And I think boxing was probably one of the only ones that I really excelled at. Boxing has been in my family ever since. Actually, my grandfather was a boxer in Texas a long time ago. I'm actually not even from Texas, but my grandfather did fight in Mexico and in Texas here.
So, since it runs in your family, did you start boxing at a very young age?
I did. I started like around 10, 11 years old in middle school, and I boxed for maybe like 5 or 6 years as an amateur boxer in that area, like in Northwest Indiana, Chicago, Michigan, even.
That's awesome. So, how did you choose your boxing gym and what key factors made it stand out to you?
Well, I was looking at a few different places. We actually checked out two places before we settled on Boxer Station downtown, and what stood out to me was the character of the building itself. I walked in and I already saw what the gym could look like. I saw the potential of the area, of the space. You know, so much natural light, the acoustics in the building, uh, and then just the general character of the industrial style of the building. And it's kind of off to the side. It's kind of hidden. It's got a lot of character. And when I guess just like I said, when I first walked in there, I immediately knew that this could be the spot.
So, like, take me back a little bit. Of course, you said you did boxing, you did amateurs. So, what made you kind of transition into coaching and training?
So it seems like almost all my jobs in my past have kind of had some little part in the over the years. And like as I got to this point in my life where the boxing gym happened, it's just almost all my skills kind of just aligned to do this one job. Um, I have background in construction. I have background in I have a marine background as well as an instructor, and so all this stuff kind of just comes together, in order to be a coach. And of course, I've been boxing my whole life. I love the sport. It's a huge passion of mine. So I was able to take a lot of that, that background, the Marine Corps intelligence background, and apply it to boxing.
Now, tell me, what is it that you love the most about boxing?
Um, Obviously the fighting, those good fights. Some of some of the best fights in boxing, the ones that they keep going back and forth. Um, those really action-packed fights and stuff, and that drives something in you. Is it, kind of just it pulls something out of people that sometimes they don't really realize they have inside themselves. And I think boxing is a great way to kind of just allow people to realize they have that inside themselves as well.
So, would you say that you training has kind of helped impact your trainings and your fighters?
Absolutely. That I work with all kinds of fighters, all kinds of boxers, people who have zero experience all the way to the top level experience. And, all those skills, they do transfer. They transfer up and down. So, working with the best fighters helps me work with other fighters who, really or brand new people who have no experience. So it just makes me a little bit more well-rounded in order to have, these different levels of boxers in my gym.
That's awesome. So, can you describe a typical training week at your gym? Like, what balances you guys have as far as like the recovery workouts after?
So a typical training at the gym is basically it's an open gym concept. I do instruct some classes in the evening. It is also a non-competition gym, so whereas most of the gyms in San Antonio are competitive based. You go there, train, and you go fight. I train people all the way up to that level, but we don't actually take them to fight. At the same time, we do have like professional level athletes, top level athletes at the gym working out there and training. They love the gym, they love the space. So you'll often see just regular people, like almost casual boxing fans, working out next to world champions or or professional level fighters, and it's a great atmosphere. You'll see that. You'll see classes in the evenings. I instruct myself, or I have some friends help me out and instruct some classes as well. And um, as far as recovery, we actually have one of our fighters' aunts comes in a couple times a month, and she does massages out of one of the rooms. So like fighters and the gym members can also get massages, take care of their body so that they can continue training properly.
Awesome. How do the coaches and the fellow boxers support one another? Of course, because you have regular people coming in and you have world champions side by side.
Yeah, it's a great it's a really great thing to see because you have these professional level athletes. They're coming by, they're getting workouts, and at the same time, you have people who may have no idea who they are, and so sometimes they'll walk past somebody like, "Oh, that guy's really good." Like, yeah, he's a professional fighter. He just fought last week or something, and they're like, "Whoa, wow!" They get blown away, and then what we tend to see is these new boxing fans come out of the gym. They start seeing these fighters, and they end up buying tickets and going to see their shows. So it does, in turn, help the boxing community and the fighters themselves. Um, and just because of that exchange that happens, we have a lot of a huge supportive system that's happening in the gym where everyone's supporting each other. They see these professional fighters working at this elite level, training at this elite level, and that motivates them and everything else as well.
Now, how long have you guys been open?
So we opened right out of the pandemic in 2021. So it was very slow the first year and stuff like that. And even now, it's still pretty. It still feels like a private gym most of the time. It's nice and quiet a lot. It does get when it does get loud, it gets like I said, the acoustics in the building. It doesn't take more than 10 people for it to get really loud, and it's a great place to come by. And ever since then, yeah, 2021 we opened up, started instructing classes about a year later, and about to start our fourth year here in August. Sorry, in June.
That's awesome. Like, can you tell me one of the proudest moments that you have within your gym that you can reflect back on?
Um, yeah, I mean, there was a time when Bam Rodriguez fought in Vegas, and that was under Canelo's card, so he was a co-main for Canelo versus Triple G, and we had a little fight watch party at the gym, and we had a bunch of members come by, and at the same time, they showed promo footage of Bam, and he was training at my gym, and so it was really great to see that on the jumbotron in Vegas, and that's just pretty cool to see how far the gym has come, and the um, that type of exposure is just so great for the gym. It's just really nice to see. That's something that we created. Now it's like on one of the biggest screens and um, unboxing platforms in general.
That's awesome. Can you tell me what do you envision for your boxing gym in the next 5 years?
I do see a lot of growth as we start to really tap into the community around us, and more people start to get to know the gym and the kind of place it is. Boxing gyms can be very intimidating, and this place is a very cool place to be, very very great place to train. And I do see now we are getting we've gotten some new sponsors here in the past few months, and that's really helped out. So with our new sponsors coming in, we have Social Spot just started sponsoring us, JD Tax, and Pete. Um, uh, he was our first sponsor, Pete Mendes, and he's going to be. I mean, you'll see him around the gym. You'll see them around as well. Social Spot's going to be sponsoring us, so that's going to be great too. We only see nothing but growth in the gym and the community.
That's awesome. Who are your boxing idols and inspirations that influenced you?
Ooh, quite a bit. Growing up, one of my favorite fighters was Fernando Vargas. I even had like his haircut when I was a little kid, when I was an amateur boxer. Uh, Manny Pacquiao, another great. There's all those classic great fighters. Eric Morales, those kinds of fights. Those are what really inspired me. to train the boxers the way I do is just kind of like nonstop fights where they're coming at you nonstop. Punches are flying. You have to keep moving. If you get hit, you got to punch back, and that's the type of fight that I really enjoy. And those type of fighters, those throwback fighters, are the ones that I really love.
That's awesome. I definitely grew up watching the sport, but I don't know anybody in the sport. I just know the sport itself, right? Um,
Mhm.
but how did boxing impact your life? Like, such as like the discipline, the confidence, and the stress management. How did that all come to play into real life?
Uh, Man, boxing is therapy for a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people think about that when boxing comes to mind. It can be very therapeutic to come in, release stress, punch the bag, work out, do some work. Getting in the ring and doing a few rounds with one of your sparring buddies like that type of stuff is very therapeutic if you're doing it the right way. And boxing for me is, I feel like no matter what has happened in my life, boxing has always allowed me to excel in one way or another. It's always been something about boxing that's caused my life to excel in the right way, in the right path. So I think just over time, boxing has helped me so much. It's just something I can't ignore anymore. I just have to continue with it no matter what. And, I find that it's the better it does for me, the more I'm able to help everyone else at the gym. And sometimes I feel like I counsel myself, listening to people who talk to me, they tell me stuff, and I try to help them with my own experiences and everything, as part of being a coach. It's not just a boxing coach, it's, the influence that you have over people and being able to help them through their own personal issues as well. It's quite, um, that really makes me feel good as well.
Very fulfilling.
Um,
Now, did you ever find yourself trying to shy away from boxing? Did you ever find yourself wanting to just forget boxing in general and try to something else in life?
not necessarily. Boxing's kind of always has been I wasn't, like I said, I was in the Marines for a little bit, so that kind of made it difficult to follow boxing for a while. But I still had my eye on it every time I was in near a gym. If they had a punching bag, I'd find a way to, get over to that punching bag and do a couple rounds, however long I could. Boxing's always been there, like I said, no matter what I've been doing. I worked in the oil field too, and we would do rounds after our 12 and a half hour shift. We'd get the gloves on, and we do some rounds with some close friends that I still talk to today.
That's great. What advice would you give somebody starting out in boxing or that is considering joining your boxing gym?
I mean, it's worth a shot to try it out. You never know what boxing can do for you. It's great in general just to learn a martial art. Boxing is a martial art. It's great to learn how to defend yourself. You want to do it. You want to be able to have some type of discipline like that in order to protect yourself or protect someone you know. Maybe if you have sisters, I have three sisters. I taught them, how to punch when I was little. It's just really great to know how to defend yourself, how to punch, and then you never know the therapeutic side of it too. What it can do for you as far as stress relief, and not just that. It's also going to keep you in shape. If you train like a fighter, you train like a boxer every day, you're eventually going to look like, depending on your diet and other stuff too. But just you're going to feel good. It does something to you that you just have to try it and see for yourself.
Now, because boxing has been in your life practically forever, is there a specific coach that comes to mind that has had a big impact in your journey?
Uh, my own coaches growing up for sure. Jim and Tim Dawkins, they're brothers. They're my two coaches back when I was young. And my father as well, he was in my corner a few times. He has coach's license as well. Um, they're they were such good coaches, and like even now as a coach myself, I'm thinking about some of the techniques I'm teaching the members at the gym, and I'm like, some of their techniques they taught me back then didn't snap until later on. I'm like, man, these guys really knew what they were talking about. And so like my coaches back then, I like to, I've always followed as well growing up. I always followed like Robert Garcia, and then even like Freddie Roach, those kinds of coaches. Manuel Stewart, a lot of these, these older coaches. They're still, some of them are still around today. and it's great to see them creating champions even now.
Can I ask you, being from San Antonio, and seeing the boxing community, what do you think in the next 2 years, that the industry needs?
That the industry needs. Um, that's a tough question. I'll say just better representation for the fighters. I think that's the thing that boxing needs in general. Um, there's a there's a huge part of boxing that's very difficult for the fighters, and that's the business side, and you know boxers being able to find fights and get fighters, and you know they 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 put a lot of they put themselves through a lot just getting ready for a fight, and sometimes the fighter can drop out at the last minute, and then you don't get a fight. Um, so I mean, there needs to be, I guess, I mean, it would be nice, but I think it's very difficult for this type of sport. A lot of the boxers are on their own, and they're trying to make it on their own with full-time jobs and other things. It's very difficult. But if there's some way, I mean, I'm sure some people are thinking of ways to figure that out. But better representation for the boxers for sure as a whole.
Now, for somebody that isn't from San Antonio and is just coming in, and is new to the boxing world here, what are some great things that we can find here in San Antonio,
Uh, as related to boxing or just in general?
related to boxing?
Oh, boxing. I mean, the gyms, they have great gyms here. There's a lot of great gyms, a lot of fighters coming out of the gyms around here. Um, it's great to see, there's a lot of boxing in general. So, I mean, you have shows like, almost every month. A lot of boxers, you know, who you see fighting on these shows, and then you never know, you see them fighting on TV, and then all of a sudden they're winning world championships. So boxing is great. The community is great too. They're very supportive of their boxers and everybody involved in that. And so, if I think boxing in San Antonio is probably one of the best in Texas. I think. I mean, I can't really think of another city at the top of my head. I mean, maybe Dallas, in that area, Houston, but as far as boxing, I think this is definitely like the boxing capital of Texas.
That's great. That's awesome. Now, you being a coach and being able to interact with your trainees, what life lesson do you find yourself teaching them often?
Uh, Mind over matter. Um, if you don't mind, then it doesn't matter. You got to keep pushing yourself, even if your body says no. You know, your mind is very strong, and sometimes you have to, you know, pick everything up, even after you're on the ground and you've been beaten down. You have to still get up and do it because sometimes you have no choice. You have to get up and you have to take care of things. And in boxing, that's the way it is. You have to get up sometimes, even if you hit the mat. You have to get up and continue fighting, pick your hands up, and just keep pushing forward.
That's great. That's awesome. Now being that your gym is kind of picking up pace now, what are a few things that you would want people to know about your gym to attract more people?
I mean, just that it's a great place to be. It's the vibe there is very different. It's a very old school looking gym, and that's what I loved about the character of the building is what I could bring out of it as well. So, um, it's a beautiful gym. The atmosphere is great. Everyone there, they know each other. You can get into the ring about 5 or 6 rounds with your friend, hop out, somebody else goes in or whatever. And at the same time, uh, you can get in shape. You can go in, train whenever you want, and then you can also see. It's a non-competition gym, but like I said, you might see a few pros walking. You might see a world champion walking by. It's that type of environment where truly anybody can get.
Now, tell me, how can somebody go about being a sponsor for your gym?
Sponsors, they could just reach out to us directly via Instagram, or our phone number, the gym phone number as well. Um, if they want to reach out, obviously we have, a few sponsors already. We would definitely love some more. That would just really go, help out with so much. But they could just, hit us up directly on Instagram.
Now, where exactly is your gym located?
So it's over by near downtown area. It's right by UTSA downtown, maybe a 2 blocks south, and off of 514 El Paso Street. And we're actually in the same parking lot as some Ghost Bus tours. And so that's what you'll see first is some big like, Ghost Bus tours buses, tour buses or whatever. And we're kind of off to the side, and like it's kind of hard to find. It's very very speakeasy type of feel to it. So off the doors off to the side, it's not even in the front. And but yeah, right there, 514 El Paso, 78207.
Awesome. Before we wrap up a little bit, is there anything that you would love to tell your trainees as far as like to motivate them or even for our listeners?
You know, we'll just thank everybody. We want to thank everybody for the support in general. Like these past few years have been, some of the best that we've ever had. You know, it's the boxing community that's helping us, and they love the fighters, the fans, and everybody who comes to the gym. We appreciate everybody. We want to thank everybody for their support.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. I can't wait to go check it out. I definitely need to
Yeah,
go.
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
And is there any upcoming events or anything that you guys have going on at your boxing gym that you would like people to know about?
We do. We have an event coming up. I can't think of the date at the top of my head right now, but which is terrible. But it's coming up. I think on the 23rd or something like that. But other than that, our sponsor at Social Spot is having a fight coming up. They are hosting matches on May 11th, which actually happens to be my birthday. So I'm very excited about those. Um, any fight watch parties and stuff like that, we also have there. So we can't wait for that to happen. So possibly for the Ryan Garcia any fight or something like that, that's going to be coming up as well. Uh, Other than that, nothing else really.
Awesome.
But we'll definitely have more in the future.
No, I'm sure you guys will. Can you let everybody know where they can connect with you guys on social media and look into joining your gym or being a sponsor?
Absolutely. So you could always DM us for information on Instagram at Boxr Station. It's Boxr, not Boxer. So Boxr Station, and we are on Facebook, TikTok, and our website. So www.boxstation.com. We're on there, and again, you could always message us at our phone number 219-331-4345.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Froy, for taking the time to kind of answer a few questions and let me know a little bit more about your gym. I hope that everybody goes and checks it out and then supports your fighters that you guys have in there. I'll have all the links down below for everybody to kind of connect with you guys. And yeah, thank you again so much.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you very much.